All right. That's it. Real recognize real. A little bit of
Real recognize real. Hey.
welcome, y'all. Welcome to the Real Recognize Real Talk Radio Show. I do see Chris in the green room, y'all. Let's bring him up.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello. How are
Hey,
you?
Hola from California.
Hola,
hey.
hola, hola.
I love
I
it. I love
Yeah.
it.
I know I'm looking scruffy, but I just came and did my gym workout, getting ready for my city winery run.
It is okay. We are glad to be in your presence and glad that you graced us with yours
Oh
today.
no, but thank you guys. Thank my man Birdman, aka I won't
Yes.
say your government on there, Joe.
You can say cuz listen, they browbeat me. They said, Bird, you gotta get your cousin on the show. I said, I'm going to get him, Franchella Lynette. I'm going to get him. It's Franchella's birthday. She said she
Why you,
wanted.
Francella? Happy birthday.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Blessings
We
to
Yes.
all of
actually do
you.
a birthday thing in the show, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I used to have a song
Unfortunately,
called "I'm Your Present," and we do this birthday thing in our show now. Joey, I don't think you've seen it yet, but it's kind of cool. Everybody kind of like it.
Oh man. And Franchella's, I was trying to get them to come, but they're going to be out of town, Chris. But I did tell them about your great show, the 14th, and
I'm coming through there.
We'll
I'm
we'll
okay,
be
yeah.
back. We'll probably be back to the Dell in the summertime too. So hopefully, cross your fingers. They'll be having us at the Dell and one of the summer shows. So that'll be really dope.
okay.
Yes.
So for those of you who don't know, Christopher Williams is coming to Philly, y'all. He's coming
hey,
here
And
to
I want to
City
thank y'all for
Wine.
selling. I want to thank y'all for selling out. The City Winery is sold out.
yeah, no
Oh,
doubt. Always. It's an awesome place.
yes. And we love
People
good music.
Thank you, thank
that
you. I
part.
appreciate you guys a lot.
That
Look,
part.
me and Birdman was in the background singing before you got on
Oh
here.
yeah.
Uh,
Feeling
usually you be having them kids thinking too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so tell us what you've been doing, what you got going on, and we ain't gonna keep you long. We just wanted
Oh
to
no, it's cool. I'm actually driving in traffic coming from a little beach workout.
uh, all right, well,
Um,
be safe
we
out
want,
there then.
yeah, it's going a little, the world's a little crazy, but we gonna conquer all the cruel, evil stuff with love. That's what's going on.
Amen.
That's right.
Mhm.
We're
That's
gonna
right.
defeat it with love. But just I've been working on this new record. Me and Vincent Herbert, working on a new record. We got a partnership with Virgin Records. Been working on a new TV show called The Book of Akbar. Big shout out to my man Jay Jesse, who worked with 50 Cent and a lot of other legendary people. Got new management. Ann Paris and Jamel Graves been doing a great job revamping the show. Just want to thank everybody for hanging out with me all these years. But now the show is new, and we've been adding the UGO Orchestra. Reached out to them. They're out of Philadelphia. An amazing all black orchestra, 31 pieces. So we tried it out with that, but a lot, obviously for a lot of shows it's streamed down. But we look forward to the future and doing things close to the Lincoln Center. And we want to do this live tribute to the Sounds of Philadelphia, which is one of my music mentors, Ted Pendergrass. And we'll
Wow,
be having the whole orchestra.
Oh wow.
wow.
That's
So that's
And
awesome.
gonna
even
be
the one white slide trombone player says he's blacker than everybody else in the orchestra. And it's all love because there's really no black or white.
Yeah.
We're all
music.
That,
just children. You know what
I
I'm saying?
usually when I have them type of people around me, I'll be like, I call them white chocolate. That's all.
And truthfully, they all white chocolate. We all white chocolate. Some of us just got more of that good melanin than others, but we all. It's impossible to be here without that melanin.
That's
Yes.
Yeah, no
right.
doubt.
That's
No
right.
doubt. So how do you feel about, I mean, still keeping it live and performing and I mean that's a blessing, right? To just still
Yeah,
be on
definitely.
stage and doing what you do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love it. It tickles me that people even remember me. I'm still a kid from the Bronx with dreams, and I'm still dreaming. I still got a lot of things, like I said, I'm tackling and accomplishing. The culmination of these things we're doing now is that I plan on putting out a movie, sort of like Lady Sings the Blues, about my aunt Ella Fitzgerald. So there's a
Wow.
lot of great things that are coming, and the most beautiful thing about this part of my journeys now is the opportunities that I get to give other people. There's
Amen.
always been a major part of my life. Today is Faith Evans' birthday, someone who I was, you know, fortunate enough to meet as a young lady, and was able to sow into, helping to bring fruition her career. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Sean Puffy Combs and Tony Dofat were doing a record on my Changes record, Let's Get Right, and I invited Faith in the session, and the rest is history.
Yeah, she's a
So I've been fortunate to see the stuff like that, and Patrick and all the young people that I've been fortunate enough to, like, just work with, and then the older guys that I've been in their footsteps, like Johnny Gill and Gerald Levert and Keith Sweat and Kayvon and them from After Seven. We have a beautiful rainbow of music and music history. And just to be honored enough to just be in to just be a part of it, it actually really still tickles me. So,
Right.
I went through a lot 3 years ago with my health. First time I was ever sick in my life, and having a real second or another opportunity to do it,
Yeah.
I don't take it for granted. So we go hard, and we just keep growing. Like I said, we are looking for and we're looking at building this entertainment conglomerate that not it's not even really about Christopher Williams, but all the things that comes from just great music and great entertainment.
And
All
I
right.
saw your Instagram page, and I saw your a couple of your performances, and I was like, okay, Chris still sound good. Like
Thank
you
you.
really do. You really
Thank
sound.
you.
You still sound good. And sometimes as you age, your voice ages with you, but yours hasn't. So
Thank
it,
you. Yeah, we're still singing in the same key.
yes,
We
I
ain't have to, we ain't have to,
noticed.
we ain't have to drop the key yet.
I was like, that is so awesome. Yeah, so y'all in for a treat, Philly. When y'all go to City Winery, y'all in for a treat.
It's
Oh
So
yeah.
going to be fun. And we
You
got a
And
young lady named Kira from Baltimore opening up the show. And she's a phenom. She's, well, I don't even want to say who she's like, because there's so many great young female artists right now. Jasmine Sullivan and her,
absolutely.
and
right.
just there's just a plethora of them. Summer
Yes.
Walker,
Right.
um, Ellie
Philly.
Mae. They're just the music. So a lot of times on radio and interviews, they'll say, people, from my generation, how do you feel about the music? I'm like, the music is in great hands. Chris Brown is making records. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So the music is great, and all the ladies that I just mentioned, they're just phenomenal. Whether it's SZA and just a plethora of young women that are killing the game. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about music, and I'm excited about being this next generation's Uncle Charlie. So that's really what we're shooting for. And the new music with Troy Taylor, big shout to my man Troy Taylor, and the new music that we're creating with my brother Vincent Herbert, who's done Lady Gaga and Tamar Braxton, and all kinds of other mindless behavior. He's been at the helm of some of the biggest, hugest music projects in the '90s and 2000s. So, and also he's a kid who was 16 years old, came to me like a grown business person and wanted a shot at this and made the
Oh,
most of it. So it's a great time. You know what I mean? It's a great time, and we're just really looking forward. And while doing all that, we have a lot of fun just getting in front of the people and performing, whether it's 300 or 3,000. Mother's Day, we did a show with Bobby D at
mhm.
Toyota Arena. I think there were 17,000 people sold out. Just felt like a
Wow.
rock. It felt like a musical rocket ship, and
Wow.
just seeing John B and Genuine and my younger brothers and Escape and everybody that was on the show just did an amazing job. Ti even came out in the middle of the
Oh,
stage.
did
So
he?
Wow.
this musical journey still lives and it rocks. You know what I mean? It just keeps on rocking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It
Everybody love good music, you know.
can I jump in? Can I jump
is
in, y'all?
universal. Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
You know what my favorite Christopher Williams song is?
What?
What?
But
Promises. Y'all,
Oh,
you have to hear him sing it. And I ain't saying this because it's my cousin, acapella. Like, I love to hear him sing that. That's my favorite.
okay.
I
Well,
was
let me
almost,
get
Well, we all
well,
in.
so Birdman, it's gonna be your birthday. We're gonna do something special for your birthday.
I
Jamel, your boy
That's
Jamel Management devised something nice for you.
oh, I can't wait. I
right.
cannot wait. I cannot wait. Oh my God. Is it the Louis Vuitton luggage that I wanted?
what?
You have to take that up. You have to take that up with Jamel Gray.
But you not you
And
can't get away, Chris, without giving us a little something, something.
Oh man, you want to sing in the car?
Yeah,
so
hey.
make me
I've been in love before and it let me down. And now I'm all grown up No turning back, girl. That's all I got. I just did a two. I just did a 2.5 hour workout. I'm drunk. I can't even contort my body to get the note out.
Get ready for the girls in Philly because I'm telling you, they coming. Get ready for them when you at
It's
the
gonna be
city
fun. I
line.
think it's gonna it's sold out. So we're gonna be I think 325 deep, which is a nice mob.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be on a 90s rocket ship. And we got some special surprises in the show too. Doing some stuff that I've never done before. Like I said, as we continue with the live band, it's gonna be a lot of great surprises in the show. And then we got our customary show, our solid set that we're doing. We got some big events this summer. The Rock the Bells with LL Cool J in Jersey,
I
and
saw.
we got Funk Master Flex weekend in August, which is Leo season, my favorite season because I'm a lion and I'm a Leo. It's gonna be fun. And then we got a city winery going to come in because thanks to Philadelphia, we sold out the city winery, and they now believe that Christopher Williams needs to be a part of that city winery
That's
family. So
right.
big shout out to City Winery. I appreciate you guys.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
and
yes.
so it's gonna be fun. Next part of this ride is gonna be fun. Like I said, new management, new record. Just excited about everything. New TV show,
And
Book
Chris,
of
one more
Aqua.
thing, Chris, one more thing. Can you shout out Professor Williams? She's coming on after you. She's my college professor. She's a big fan.
Professor Williams, I hope to see you at the City Winery. I'm shouting you out, Professor Williams. From Dr. Williams to Professor Williams. Big shout out.
Big
Yes,
shout out. Yay.
yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining
Chris.
us on the Real
Thanks for having
Recognizable
me.
Talk
Thanks
Radio
for having me. Tell her
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and don't be a stranger because we got you. I pray that you get on the Dell because we will be there. I don't know if
Yeah.
you can get Lady B on the Lady B basement party.
Big
Um,
shout to Lady B. I'll be doing interviews with her. That's my baby. I love Lady B. And big shout to Pat Jackson, all the
right.
WGS, and all the Philly legends coming out to have some fun.
Exactly. I was going to
Absolutely.
ask you that because I was like, okay, I'm going to call B right now. Like, I got Chris on.
We begging Lady B to be on the team.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, kudos to you. Keep doing what you're
Yes.
doing. God bless you and your journey. As long as you can give that good music to heal people, to make people feel good, do what you do. Continue
Keep
to do it. But
doing
I
it.
just want to also let you know that me and Lynette, we do have a little bit of acting skills. So when you're ready for that movie and you need
Oh
some
yeah. Oh, now the TV show is going to be a lot of. We're going to definitely need to. You'll hear about it. You're going to hear the publicity, and we'll be shooting in New York, the Book of Aqua. Got a lot of really cool people interested in it. We got blessings from legendary brothers like IT and a few other surprises. So we're putting it all together, but we will be shooting in New York at the top of 26. It's going to be a major movement. It's going to be it's going to be something right in between Snowfall, The Wire, Godfather, Harlem, but it's going to be coming from a Bronx dude, me,
okay.
with an amazing slice of life story about changing corruption to
Right.
corporation, and it'll be seen through the eyes of Kareem Akbar, who we haven't heard from since they locked me up
Kareem.
Right.
with Wesley Snitch.
I'm
So
I'm
Kareem will be getting out
I'm
of federal prison.
I'm also shooting a film as well. My first one I wrote and directed. So yeah.
Oh,
So
congratulations! This won't be a film though. This will be a television series.
oh, television series. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he's
called the
like the
Book of
Lion
Akbar.
Godfather of Harlem. He named some top notch series.
I
Like,
know.
We're gonna create something really amazing. And the thing is, it's gonna a lot of the young people that are involved that are gonna be the real people driving the narrative of the story and
Right.
changing some of the perceptions of how we see business and how things are structured in this world pertaining to the streets and changing the narrative. And that's what the Book of Akbar is. It's from a dude who just did 34 years in prison. And I've kind of been in a hiatus for 30 years, truthfully.
Yeah.
And I've survived it. I didn't need to, extort myself or extort anyone else or do anything crazy. And
Right.
the best is yet to come. That's what's exciting about this. I think at
Absolutely.
the end of this next 10 years, I might be able to sit down like Frank Sinatra and say I did it my way. And the result will be just seeing the fruit of my labor and all these opportunities and young people and great legends that I get to cross collateralize with and, get to be in the same room on the same stage with them.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
It's
Awesome.
truly a blessing, and it's good to see you back on the scene.
You don't
It's
know?
good
thank
to
you, thank
see
you,
you
and pray
back
for
on.
me. I'm trying to work out so I get that body right for around August, September. I'm getting ready to try and get, trying to be
Yeah.
like Lenny Kravitz.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah,
So be
yeah.
safe
Pray for
out
me. I got a
there.
long way to go.
You good. You
Well,
good.
you good, but we'll
Yes.
still pray for you.
All right, y'all be good. All right,
All
Yep,
right,
we
you
all
too.
right.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Be safe out there,
Yep.
I will. Bye bye.
and God
See you at
bless.
the Dell. See you at the
God bless.
Dell. Putting it into existence. See you at the Dell.
That's right. I'll see you
All
there.
right, see y'all
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so that was a nice surprise. So y'all see, I said it was gonna be a surprise. Surprise! Thank you, Birdman.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
well. Anything for my girls, and I told you he was going to stay on longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he sure did.
And I got him to sing for you. Everything y'all promised, I promised y'all I
Exactly.
got him to do it.
Thank you,
That
thank
is
you, thank
awesome. Yes, thank you. So I want to wait when I see Tamika. She's in the green room, but there she go. There's a beautiful face. Let's bring
Oh,
her up. Let's bring her
another,
up.
So we
another
also have
William.
another guest,
Hey,
another
Yes.
Williams.
me
Yes,
let me
yes.
unmute myself. Hi everyone.
Hello, hello,
For
hello.
you. Did you hear your shout out?
I sure did, but I couldn't say anything. But my daughter came upstairs and was like, I heard you up here laughing. So she heard it too.
She said, "I want to see what you're laughing about."
She
But
sure did.
let me give you a proper introduction, and then we'll go right into it.
Okay.
Tamika Williams is a proud mother, lifelong learner, college professor, and mentor who is passionate about the development and success of young learners. She has dual master's degrees and is pursuing a doctorate degree as well. She has a wealth of experience in research based evidence, practical, and effective teaching strategies. Her work is grounded in educational equity, child development, early childhood education, and impact. And impact. So welcome to the
Well,
Real Recognize Real Talk Radio Show, Tamika
Thank you.
Williams. Thank you for joining us this evening.
You are so welcome.
Thank you. So Birdman was talking about some of the things off camera that he wanted to discuss. So present your question,
sure,
Birdman.
sure. So, everybody, well, I want to introduce. I love Professor Williams. She's my actual professor in college. I love her. I loved her so much, and I wanted her to come on the show. And I don't normally do this, but I love when I say I love Professor Williams. I love her. In the good way, not no crazy.
I know what
But,
you mean.
in the good way. But she makes learning fun. So I can just imagine when she was a preschool teacher, but I really enjoyed her class. But I wanted to talk about, and I discussed with Franchella about the black boys' behavior
Hmm.
and the social emotional aspect of our children and overbearing parents and all of that stuff in the preschool early years and how it transcends into our adult years. Sometimes us as males and people, we have all of these little things that happen in preschool that our parents kind of ignored. Now we kind of out of hand now as adults. And I think
Right.
Professor Williams, she's so great with that social emotional things for young people that it helped me even in adulthood. So I wanted to stick on that. Like our beloved love friend Chella was dealing with an issue. And I know us Geminis, like I think Geminis, we are very social emotional people. And I
Right.
think that when things come our way, we like to we get anxiety. But like Professor Williams is good with all of those things, and I just think that the strategies for kids as well as adults, she would give us a wealth of information.
Okay.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Right. And I'm happy to be here. And so one of the things I've been doing this work in September, it'll be 30 years with the school district, right? So it'll be 30 plus years that I've been doing this work. And so one of the things is that when we talk about children, especially African American males and those things of those natures, sometimes I think we have to do this work and do it from the lens of incorporating the parents too, right? And I think that we have to be able to meet parents and families where they are, right? And so I think it's you have to have those, be able to have those relationships, to be able to have those uncomfortable conversations sometimes, right? Because nobody, I always tell people, nobody wants a imperfect child, right? And so it's the responsibility of the educator, the people who work in early childhood, to build these relationships and to also make parents feel comfortable enough and to trust you enough and to feel safe enough to have those conversations. And also for me, if I'm the person that spends the majority of the time with your child and I'm witnessing these things on a daily basis, it's the relationships and the trust that I build with families that's going to allow those conversations to go in the direction that we need it to go, right? The other piece of it is that, if all goes well, I will be defending my dissertation next month. And my topic for my dissertation is complex trauma and the impact it has on professional development in early childhood classrooms. One of the things is that when we came out of the pandemic, there was a huge amount of children who were being referred for services, right? And
And
what
they almost had to unlearn the behaviors that they developed. You go ahead.
right. So for me, it was going back into the classroom. So you figure we were out of school for like close to a year, right? And so kids have been home, right? So we're dealing with the pandemic. We're dealing with the murder rate in the city. We're talking about for every murder rate that was happening, every murder that was happening in the city, there's children who were connected to that, right? And so as we merge children back into school, um, there was a huge influx of children who were being referred for services, right? So my concern was like, wait a minute, my red flag went up when I was like, listen, we know that children's disabilities and some behaviors, they mimic a trauma response, right? And so what I realized was that the teachers who were in the classroom who were supporting these children, they didn't know how to support them, right? Not only were they unable to support them, they had been impacted by trauma too, right? So for me, it was like, okay, well, how do I support teachers and trying to support these children in the classroom? Because everything doesn't require children to be referred for special ed. Sometimes we just have to be able to have the skills to be able to identify when children have been impacted by trauma, right? So which leads me into sometimes when you have teachers who are unfamiliar with those things, we have children who could potentially be referred, and that's not the case, right? And then sometimes when you're with families, um, it becomes, if you don't have the proper relationship those and you're not able to have those courageous conversations, things can go a different way, right? So I think one of the ways that we do all of this is definitely we can't do this work without building relationships with them, right? And we can't do this work without ensuring that families trust us, right? And I also try to encourage parents to advocate for their children, right? Like I can have these suggestions, but it's you that has to advocate for your child and encouraging them to give them a voice to be able to do those things.
Professor
Yeah,
Williams,
yeah.
can I ask this, and ladies, you agree because who have sons? So is every black boy bad?
No.
I went to a and I was talking to Professor Williams earlier that uh professor told me this. She said Joe Birdman, there's it's the three B's that some people look out for our boys. They're big, they're black, and they're bad. And she said, and that's a stereotype. And I was talking to Professor Williams where every black child is not bad. I just think that they're busy. Every black child is not autistic. Every black child does not have ADD.
No.
And far as Franchella, because you have a son, when your son was little, everything he did you view it as bad, or he has ADHD, or
Not at all. Well, I didn't do anything at bad. He wasn't that kind of kid. So I was just fortunate, you know what I'm saying? But I had a nephew who, like, he was Dennis the Menace, you know?
Right,
So,
okay. So now define that. When we say these kids are Dennis the Menace, like, what is that?
Well, you know the show.
Right, I know that, but I'm saying like a kid that's really bad, or they just busy.
But here's the thing: we relate it to being bad, and
Okay.
when we tell the kid that was the wrong thing. I mean, I'm guilty of it as well. When we
Okay.
tell the child that they're bad, they're going to believe that they're bad,
Right.
and instead of so now I'm in a different mind. I'm older. I'm a different mindset. And they're busy. That's it. Don't just tell them to stop. Don't do something. You correct the wrong. Don't say they bad or pop them up on the side of their head or whatever, because they are just being busy. But because we have low tolerance for them, that's why we consider it bad. But they're curious of something, so they're doing something they shouldn't be doing.
Absolutely.
Tony Simmons just said they need a lot of researchers like yourself, Tamika, to find out the root cause of the issue before analyzing it like they're doing now and just making a call and a wrong call at that. Because they want to put every child on medicine,
Exactly. And sometimes the behavior is a deflection from something else. Like I've worked in the school where I was like director over this program for after school program. And the children there, the ones who were acting out and didn't want to pay attention, it was because they didn't understand the material. So instead of them saying I need help, I don't understand it, they check out and then they get into other things. So it's not that they're being bad. It's a it's observation, and it's a conversation that you have with them to kind of pull back the layers to the why. Once you get to the core of the why, then you know how to handle them in a much better way. Because everybody
therapy should be a part of curriculum in schools, right?
Agreed.
Because you have parents who they don't take the time, right? And it's really not the teacher's time, but then you might not have a village. That's why it's always when you say you have a village to raise a child, everybody don't have that village. So it's like, I always say this, guys, I'll be talking about this forever, how the curriculum in schools really need to change. Because we only need the basic in school. Nobody needs algebra. Nobody needs geometry. You learn that in college if you're going to be a scientist or whatever you're going. But you don't use it. You don't need it. You need basic arithmetic, multiplication, that type of thing. English, of course, and history. Boom. But the basic life courses
skills
that you need, right? Life skills. Hygiene, bullying, suicide, like all those things to talk about, get them in a forum to talk about, even if it's a school where it's diverse, because some of the Caucasians don't understand Black people and Black might not understand them. So if it's done in school at a young age and it just heightens as you get older, I think we would have such a better world because people have more of an understanding of life.
Each other and of each other. Agreed.
And I wholeheartedly agree with you, right? I think that one of the things that came out of the pandemic and what has become mandated, especially in the early childhood classrooms, is the fact that all teachers have to have a course in trauma, like trauma responsive and creating a trauma responsive classrooms, all of those things, right? I think that like I said, I've been doing this for in September it'll be 30 years with the district. So when I think about my 22-year-old self versus my 52-year-old self and the amount of experiences that I've had and how much I've grown, I think that one of the things is that when we talk about our boys, and I've taught from pre-K up to middle school and even high school, right? And I think that although I love early childhood because I feel like we set the foundation, I feel like the most impact that I've had is really been in middle school, right? I think that those moments when things are shifting, they're not certain of who they are, things are changing, all of those things. As teachers, we have to provide them with a safe enough space. And we also have to identify the fact that these are young adults, right? And so for me, it's always that busy child that we go back to. And my best friend and I always say I love an inappropriate kid, right? And it's the kid that's
Mhm.
gonna cuss you out, it's the kid that's gonna act up, and he just gonna have you stunned, and he gonna call you all the things, right? But it's that child that when you take the time out and you create boundaries and you respect them the same way you'd expect to be expected, that's when the magic happens, right?
Right.
Always those children, to your point, Lynette, when you said we have to get to the root of what happened, right? And sometimes we're dealing with children who are of families who they're just doing the best that they can. They're
Right.
giving you their best version of their child, right? And
Right.
so when they come in, it's my responsibility to build enough relationship with this child to figure out what happened to you, or give you high enough expectations to say, listen, it's okay to have big emotions. It's okay to be upset. But what you will not do is be
It's
disrespectful.
disrespectful.
Let's
Boom.
figure this out.
Part.
Let's talk about how we can do, different things. And it's tapping into finding what their interests are and their strengths, right?
Right. And
Um,
how they best learn. Like
yes,
I always say, because I used to teach as well at a university, and I used to say the students will teach you how to teach them
yes, yes,
by the questions they ask you. So
yes,
it's like, okay, now you have to say, okay, I have to figure out how to structure this question in a better way for all learners.
yes,
Not just how I process information. To me, teaching is a tremendous skill set if you do it well,
yes.
to be able to transfer the knowledge that you have inside of you to the masses for everybody to understand. That's a skill set. That
It
is
is.
truly a skill
It
set.
is. And you
Yeah.
definitely, I think that, I've watched education change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the biggest piece of it is that you have to meet people where they are,
You
right?
have to.
And I started my career as a early childhood teacher in Head Start in the city of Philadelphia. But what works for me is that even when I came out of Head Start and pre-K, some of the things that I learned in pre-K, I utilize with my middle school students. So if you had a rough day and you decide you wanted to show out, I wasn't going back and forth with you. But
Right.
best believe I travel with my keys. So at the end of the day, when you cussing me out on 60th Street, when you walk up to your door, my car gonna be parked in front of your door and I'm gonna be on your couch, right? And we're gonna have that courageous conversation about who wants to be the one that tells your mom how disrespectful you were, because I know you
Exactly.
don't, but it's that
Exactly.
where you start when kids realize this woman cared enough about me to come to my house. The families recognize, back then I was Miss Williams. Miss Williams cared enough. Who comes to my house and bum rushes my house to say, listen, we've had an off day. Let's figure out what we can do to support you. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes parents don't feel safe enough to come into school, right? There's things that are going on, and I have to go into your world to figure out what's going on to help me understand and support you and your child, right?
Right.
And so I'm an adjunct at Harcum because one of the things is that I want to be able to transfer all the things that I've learned to new teachers, right?
Right.
I don't want you to limit yourself with what you can do when it comes to kids, especially the children that look like us, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
to be able to build those relationships for those, it's the one thing that it could be a child that no child is bad, the
Right.
busiest
Right.
child in the world, but it's the one thing that you pull out that that child does right, and that could be the game changer for everything.
Exactly.
And so sometimes teachers and even having courageous conversations with them, I'm just like, well, maybe this is not what you need to do anymore.
Mhm.
Maybe we need a change, or
A
how
different way.
I
right,
mean,
Mhm.
or
at
maybe
first,
it's not for you anymore.
no, exactly. But I would say a lot of them are afraid because of the disrespect now that these kids is heightened to a new level. You
Oh,
know
it
what I mean?
is.
Versus when we were going to school, so they're afraid. And right now, everybody just looking for a job. So like preachers, pastors, they got churches and they ain't doing what they supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's just like everybody just want a job and nobody cares that much,
Right.
about
Right.
the job that they're doing to make an impact,
Right.
especially on the children. And it's sad. I mean, it is what it is, and
It
it
is.
is fearful for a lot of them. They know if they say something, they're going to get cussed out. But you got people
Mhm.
like probably me, you, Lynette. you know, and Birdman as well. I mean, I see Birdman with his kids is a beautiful thing. He just like he really has a connection with them. But you know, we would grab them by the shirt and be like, "Yo, who you talking to?" But everybody's not like that. You know what I'm saying?
I was in I facilitated a workshop one time for youth, and it was primarily young girls between the ages of 12. I think they were like 12 to maybe like 17. And as soon as I went in, you know, they were all like this. And one of the girls, I particularly noticed her because she was like this.
Yes, the passive aggressive stuff.
And so I said, okay, that's the one I want to get to. In my head, you know, in my head, I'm like, that's the one I want to get to because there's something going on here. And I know she wants my attention, but I also know the power of negative reinforcement. And I totally do not believe in that. So I won't give her all of my attention because it's not fair to anybody else. But I'm going to know that I'm going to let her know that I recognize what's going on, and then we're going to move on. So so at first I said, how you doing? I introduced myself and whatever. And then I said, you know, we get ready to engage in these activities that you're going to need your hands for. So I let her know, you know, you're going to have to use your hands. So you can't keep your hands like this. Right. Like this one right here.
Yes.
Ooh.
And it's the girls that will try you more.
Yes.
Than the boys. I mean, yes. But
oh my God, I think me, Professor and ladies, I think the boys, I think are the envelope pushers to me. Maybe with the little people,
maybe it's
the boys. And I think
a little older. I think when you get a little older in middle school, they definitely try you more. I think boys are a little bit more sillier, and like in the summertime too. I also work for the Urban Affairs Coalition with Work Ready and just ensuring that these kids have something. I love it.
They offered me my first job when I was a teenager.
Oh my God, I love it. I'm gonna tell you, I feel like it's more. I love the school district hands down, but I feel like working for the Urban Affairs Coalition is just so rewarding. It's the relationships that you build with children, and it allows me to build relationships with youth from between 16 to like 21, right? And so I think that I think when you know, getting back to when we talk about who pushes your buttons, the boys are very silly, right? And a little immature, but the girls is almost like they feel like they have to compete with you, right? And so it looks a little different. Whereas in preschool and pre-K, the kids might, you know, not even they try to buck up against you, right? But it definitely looks different. It starts to shift when they get older. And I noticed that usually around 5th or 6th grade, they start smelling themselves. Right. So the relationships that you build with them are a little different. And it starts to shift, right? But I think you have to be able to your point, what we cannot do, and I try to tell people all the time, and sometimes adults are, you know, guilty of this. We trigger children with what we say, right? And even at the preschool level, I'll tell teachers all the time, you're never going to win with the 3 or 4-year-old. You're just not. Like, don't even argue. Like, listen, you tell them, you listen, it's okay. You got big emotions right now. When you're ready to talk, you come over and you have a conversation with me. We'll figure it out. And we can't, because nobody's going to win.
Exactly. And again, that's where the negative reinforcement comes in at, because now if I want your attention, now that I got your attention because I did something bad, now if I want your attention, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna keep doing something bad because this is what I get attention for.
So can I ask this question?
Tony saying y'all know I need my glasses. I don't know why I glasses. So maybe he can put in the comments, you know, to answer this question. He said he was known as a bad little ass. They told him all his life that he was bad, and he remembered other parents saying no, he's not bad, but he was a busy kid. So what I mean, in your mind, was you being bad? Like, really? I mean,
what was causing your behavior, Tony? We're gonna use you as a research project right now.
But I think that sometimes those are the behaviors that we say to kids and they live up to them, right? But I think that there's always, when we get to the root of children and we get to know them, we have to figure out what they're very good at, and we build off of that, right?
Right.
Are they busy? Yes, they, and when kids come to us, we have no idea of what their home background. We're
Right,
competing with so many
right,
things, and
right,
so even now, I even think, when I told my teachers, I'm like, listen, you're playing many roles. You're going to play mom. You're going to play the psychologist with mom. You're going to play the nurse. You're going to play all of these things, because when they
right,
step into your classroom, they're yours, right? And
Right.
so, yes, do we look at a child and we say, you know what? We know that I'm not going to keep calling you 50 million times, because we also know that a child's attention span is only 1 minute
short,
for how long they've been born. So if you have a 3 or 4 year old, you're only expecting a child to stay still or have an attention span for 3 minutes. But if
right,
you give them an activity for 20 minutes, then you ask them for trouble, right? So
right, with no break.
but we have to build on that. So when people
Mhm.
come in the classroom and they're saying, Miss Williams, they just won't sit down, and I'm saying to myself, this is
How
why
long they been sitting down?
this is why we learn in centers. This is where children learn. The learning takes place in centers. The goal is for them to be able to move around and to explore. But if you stifle that, then
Right,
it's always going to be an issue, right? And I
right,
always tell adults, stop getting into a tussle with little people. You're never going to win. And there are adults who say they should be doing as I say, not as they want to do. So 9 times out of 10, those are the calls that I get about a teacher struggling. My coaches, her classroom management, all of these things. Instead of meeting these children, the busy ones, where they are, you give them job charts, you give them responsibilities. You
right,
know, you
right.
we're going outside, so you're going to be the electrician for the day. I'm gonna need you to cut off the lights. This is only your job, right?
Exactly. And
You're
they
going
be so happy.
Yes. And so that is that thing that, we know that if there's a child who always is expecting for somebody to expect for them to show up in that way, that's how they're going to show up. But it's the busy ones that I love the most, because it's those that you can pull the layers back and figure out what they're amazing at and build off of that.
Well, maybe
Right.
you can babysit my granddaughter because busy, busy, like busy, busy, busy. Okay.
Charlotte, can I ask this though? With both of you were saying, so why do they say? And I heard a lot of females in my family say, "Be their mother and stop trying to be their friend." So when
Respect.
people say that, it's like, does that affect the kid? Because
Yeah.
when they say like stop trying to be their friend and be their mother, or
It's a different respect level.
mothers
It
raise
is.
their daughters and love their sons, like this stuff that we've been taught, is this why some of the behaviors are coming in the classrooms? Because some parents think, well, I can't be their well, can you be well, I'm not a mother, can you be your kid's friend and their mother and not be
I mean,
disrespected?
you want your kid to feel safe enough to want to tell you things, to
Yep.
talk,
Okay.
right? But I
Okay.
think, a lot of these young mothers are having kids young, so they're
Mhm.
kind of growing up together,
Okay.
and it's like, they want to be
Be
their
on
friend and hang
Facebook
out with them,
together and all
do
that.
the wrong things with their child. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Instead of having those boundaries, you can still be their friend to an extent, but there has to be boundaries with that,
Yes.
because then they lose that respect because they don't look at you in the same manner.
What's a boundary that if you will get respect lost if you do what's that boundary where we starting to see that the kid lost respect for the parent?
They
One thing.
want to smoke weed in front of them or
Or
cursing,
Facebook with the
cursing,
children,
Person
and
with the
in front of
babies and
them,
stuff.
yeah,
Yes, and see, here's the thing: we're raising kids at a different time, right? In a different
right,
time, and
right.
so I think that one of the things, in what I've also learned, is that when you're raising children, you're raising young adults, right? You want to it's our responsibility to some extent to front load them with the tools that they're going to need to be successful in life, right?
Mhm.
And so, to your point, Franchella, um, you always want to make sure that your children have a safe enough space to be able to feel comfortable to tell you anything,
Anything.
right? Like,
Mhm.
even if it's a small cut, but if you're yelling and you're doing all these things, my baby ain't gonna come and tell me that you burnt your finger on the iron because you were curious and you wanted to touch it. But if
right.
I create the space for you to be able to do these things, then I know that when it's time for you to be curious about other things as you get older, we can have those conversations. But I think that, it's all based on how other people were raised too. And I think for me, like I think about my daughter who is 15, right? And I think about how my mother raised me. Like, listen, you don't come in here pregnant, you don't do all of these things. Okay, right. But it also opened up a door for curiosity because you're making this seem real special, right?
What I'm missing out on.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like for me, I realized that's not what I never want my daughter to feel like she can't have conversations with me, right? I need you to also, but I also put those things in where I'm recognizing I'm front loading her with those tools to be able to advocate for herself, to be able to have courageous conversations about boundaries when people cross them. And now we're talking about relationships, right? And we know what that looks like sometimes relationships with women, right? And so it's those things that we ensure that we give our children those spaces. But I'm also mindful of there are certain things that I'm just not going to do in front of her because I don't want to send a message for her to believe that these are okay. And this is not what I would want her to do, right? But I also recognize is that I've had a couple of my daughter's friends say to me, listen, what you pour into, because if when you come to my house, I'm treating you like you mine, right? There's nothing that you have to worry about. I'm keeping you safe, all of those things. And I've had a parent that has said to me, what you pour into my child, nobody ever did that for me. So now I'm parenting your child and I'm parenting you, right? And so even as when I was in the classroom, I would watch parents respond to their children. And I used to be like, listen, I can't control what you do when you outside of this classroom, but when you come in here, you will not yell at him. You will not put your hands on him. Because even when we used to do meetings at the beginning of the year, it was a clause inside the handbook that listen, I am a mandated reporter.
That's right.
Put your hand on them in school. Like I can't control what you do. Better not come in here with a black eye. Better not come in here with a busted lip because listen, I'm going to report it. But there's other ways that we can deal with things. And I also share with families how we deal with things, right? Some people get it, some people don't, right? But I feel like when even I started teaching when I was 22. I always felt honored that somebody trusted me enough to leave their child with me at 22 because I looked like I was 14, right? And so what I wanted, I never listen. I know people say this sounds harsh, but I didn't have desires to be anybody's mother. I just wanted to be an amazing teacher, right? But now I have my own child, and it's just like what I've always led with was that I want for somebody else's child what I would want for my own. And that was before I became a mother, right? And so even more so now, like I'm never going to recommend a place to put your child that I wouldn't recommend for my own daughter. And I wouldn't suggest anything for your child that I wouldn't recommend for mine. And I say to teachers all the time, especially when I go into classrooms and I'm like, when you're yelling at kids, and I say to myself, is this what you're doing in your classroom? Would this be okay for you?
If your child was in here.
Exactly. And if it's not, then this is where the conversation starts. Or we need to rethink if this is where you want to be. So we're gonna coach you up or we're gonna coach you out. Which way we gonna do this, right? And so it's just, I do what I do in terms of being an adjunct because the goal is to bring that passion back into EC and education. Because it's sad because it's all of the different things that you deal with and people get intimidated by these parents, but sometimes that's where the work starts, right? Building those relationships with parents, and not to be in their business, but for them to feel safe enough to be able to share things with you. But we also have to meet them where they are, right? And so it is that space where we have to work at and start to be able to see the changes that we want to happen.
And there's a real thing as teachers burnout because of the behaviors in the classroom, and not classroom management was real big. Well, it still is, but it was a real big thing when I was in the classroom. And teacher burnout is a real thing because you're dealing with so many different personalities at one time for such a long period of time, sometimes with limited resources, lack of support, so it is truly, you really have to be, it's something you really have to be passionate about,
Yes.
and patient about,
Yes.
and the want, you got to have the want to, the goal, you got to keep the end goal in mind, is to what are you here for, and what is the outcome that you want the students to achieve from your lesson. So
Yes.
if
Hey,
you
y'all,
have those,
I do believe in popping the ass. Like, stop it.
but
Like,
look, if beating works, somebody said to me, if beating works, then why do you always have to do it? If it worked, then why do you
but you
always
don't
have
have to
I
always, you
think
don't
it
always
works.
do it with forever.
No,
Do it
I got a beating one time when I was a kid, and I promised God and three other people I'd never do it again, and I didn't.
yeah,
he said, no,
it
beating works.
works.
I
But
did.
see,
It
but
worked. It
it's
worked.
the flip side to that too,
So
y'all.
no, right. So
Wait,
listen.
I never got a beat in a day of my life, and
So
that's
listen.
why I thought I could get away with everything.
But that's the point. You should have got your ass beat. So like my husband, crazy behind. He got beat, and he told him, "Well, you might as well beat me again because I'm going to do it again tomorrow."
My
So
brother.
it's just whoever the kid is. But because nowadays they kind of stop, like you're not allowed, like in public, to like spank your kid on the butt or do any of that stuff. So it makes it hard because now everybody want to call abuse on you when some are just disciplining their child the way they were disciplined. It's not really abuse. It only is abuse if you leave them
No.
on
Like don't come in and you got black and blue marks and all of that other stuff, right?
exactly.
And,
That's
and, and
not
I, that's the era that I was, and I've never had to beat my daughter at all, right? And she's
right.
just one of those kids that, first of all, I could just give her the tilt in the head and she gets it, right? And she'll just like, okay, she'll get herself together. But I think that some of those, we talk about those, and it's a lot of things that kind of play into that too. You'll be surprised during the pandemic, when we were everything was virtual, right? The
Mhm.
things that
Mhm.
people called and made calls to DHS about, right? We're living in a space that this is all new to everybody. We got videos on. Okay, you forget that your child is on TV. You might come out the bathroom and right, and those sort of things. And here it is, you're reporting a family to DHS, right? But the other conversation is, people who, I'm a firm believer that when you have to be familiar with your audience. You have to know your audience. So if you're somebody who has always been on the main line and you're coming into West Philadelphia, you have to sit back and you have to figure out how to be able to come familiar with that culture that you're working with, right?
Right.
And it doesn't mean that for us, the biggest way to lose my trust is that you reported me to DHS for something that I'm the best mom that I know how to be. I'm
Right.
giving you the best that I know that I have, right? And here it is that you violate my trust and you refer me to DHS for something that was a mistake, right? And
Mhm.
so it's those conversations that, even as administrators, we have to have, and we have to um coach our teachers into understanding the population of people that they service, right? I will sit on an interview and when people come in and sometimes I like doing interviews and sometimes I don't, right? And so it's always the person that comes in and says, so why do you want to teach in Philadelphia? Why do you want to teach in preschool? Well, I think I could come make a change. Well, who says we need a change, right? Who says that it's all bad, right? And it's those people who feel like they're coming from these different places, or it's almost like you feel like the space that you're coming from is better, and you need to come into the inner city and give them something to bring them where they are. But no, how about you come into our
Right.
world, right?
Right.
Come
Right.
on into. I will never forget. I used to take bets when I was in the school, and every year we would get a brand new group of middle school teachers, right? And so I would just sit in the first couple of days and I would just take bets to see how long they would last. So, September is always the honeymoon stages. And then come October, well, around the holidays, for children who've been impacted by trauma or just different things, the holidays are not good for kids. It's when the behaviors start to escalate. It's so many different things. And
Right.
so one day I said, come on, go do this home visit with me. Huh? We're gonna walk. Yes, we're gonna walk up 60th Street and we're gonna go to these houses and come and do a home visit with me. You can do that? Okay, yes, you can. This is the way that we're going to become familiar with the community. This is the way that you're going to build relationships within the community. And this is the way people are going to see that you
You
genuinely care
care.
about your children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Instead of you pulling in on 61st Street and pulling out on 61st Street, bypassing all the other things that these kids are dealing with.
Right.
Right. And so it's those things that when we talk about the busy kids, the big kids, and all of these things, it makes a difference, and we just have to be mindful of what we say. You know, I had a coworker who thought that it was okay to threaten kids, and her way of having order was always threatening the kids with the police. And I'm like, what? Like, that's not what we're gonna do.
Right.
What did she say to
She
him?
would just be like, listen,
Don't call the police.
if she had this child, she had to cover her class, it was on and popping. She would just say, she didn't like covering middle school. So for me, it was just like, listen, if you're an educator, you can teach everything, right? It's about meeting the kids where they are, whatever. She didn't like teaching middle school. And so whenever she had to cover, because at this point, by January, all the teachers that I was putting bets on, they had already left. So we would have to kind of step in and cover. But her way of classroom management was threatening the kids and telling them that they were going to call the police. But what she didn't realize was that she was triggering the kids because of things that they had experienced, but they also recognized that you don't value me enough to believe that that's not what I deserve. Right.
Right.
And in middle years, these kids can articulate these things to you. Just because they come in showing you one thing does not mean these are some of the brightest kids, the talented kids. You just have to pull it out of them. And you just
Right.
have to be willing to expose them to these things because
Right.
they don't know what they don't know.
And
So
you can structure activities. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I heard what you say, how she said, she'll call the cops. You know that saying, if you save one, it's a good thing, So if it scared two of them or three of them not to do the wrong thing, but then the one kid, it triggered them.
Mm-hmm.
I know everybody's way is different, and
Mm-hmm.
so if they had like a team in the school system, somebody that's responsible, the teachers would report, say, "Hey, this kid's not coming to school." They will make all those home visits themselves. Like it will be a
It
team
used to
inside.
be like a truancy officer or
Right, right,
truancy.
right. To come and find out what's going on in the home. Talk because the parents not going to go to school to tell them, hey,
No,
we
because they
have a
don't
lot
trust you.
of situation going on at home. So you might see some behavior changes in my child, or you might whatever. You know what I mean? Like they should. I don't know even if maybe a paper can be sent home, quarterly, and they fill out. So if some kind of assessment so they'll know what's going on to help these kids. It just has to be, I don't
More,
know.
more
It's
than
we talked about this so many times about what we can do to
I,
save the
I
children.
think that, and I think that for me, and I will say this all the time, it's the relationships that you build with the families. It is, and it has to be those uncomfortable moments,
conversation.
and you have to rise above it because we know what is the commonality is the child. I remember, I had to do a home visit, and the child lived in. This was years ago, and I think they lived in the projects, but it was when projects were on 37th Street, and it was a high rise. So I
Okay,
had never been anybody's projects. Okay, the
like
lights
that
wasn't
time.
working in the elevator,
The elevator wasn't working at all.
nothing. Right, and going into this house, I knew that I had to make myself uncomfortable because I knew I had to have a conversation with the mother because the child needed to have a conversation with her that she couldn't have. So she asked me,
To
Miss
come.
Wilson, I need you to come to have this conversation with my mom because ultimately it was like a life or death situation, right? But I
Right.
think that we as educators, and I know that's not everybody's story, right? But I feel like as educators, sometimes we have to go into the parents' world. We want them to come to the school, we want them to do these things, but we also have to make a connection with these families because they're not necessarily going to come into the school and tell you, you know, these are things that are happening, or a child that's been out for a week and you're just like, well, we haven't seen them. Well, what's going on? Well, I lost my older son, whatever the case is, right? We have to be able to tap into those families and build enough relationships with these people for them to feel safe. And that is where we see the rewards and the fruits of our labors. And I know I can't listen. If it was up to me, I wouldn't even retire. I just love, and I love foot and
but you're you know, and I just want to say thank you, and you're a blessing because there's not a lot of you. You know what I mean? Because people, they're scared. Like right now, I mean, I'm from West Philadelphia, but no, I ain't walking down 60th Street. So I'm just saying.
You're not gonna go down 60th Street.
Listen, and when I left 60th Street, it was just listen. I left 60th Street, and I went down to the Badlands, and so everything that I knew, like it was a kid one day. I just remember. It's just what I do. It's just you go into that mode where you're just like a kid needs something. All right, so what's the address? Who's coming with me? We're walking in the car, whatever, right? Or it's a dismissal, and mom is not answering the phone. All right, well, we're gonna do a home visit, right? And then somebody had to tell me, Tamika, you are not in West Philly anymore. You know you on 60th Street. You're on Lehigh Avenue, on Allegheny Avenue. So like, this is not what we're gonna do. But I'm saying to myself, okay, well, this is what I would want somebody to do for my own kids, right? If I know that a child is in trouble, if a family is in trouble, this is just what we do. I come from a family of servants. My twin sister is a nurse. She's been at CHOP if I've been with the district for 30 years, she's been with CHOP for 32. My mom was a social worker. This is just what we do. And this is our passion, right? And I just think that
assemblies. Do they still have assemblies in school?
I think so. I think that they do, and it just depends on the staff part about it. It just depends on the administrator too, right? And it just
a lot of this can be. I think a lot, I mean, besides changing the curriculum, which would take a lot of, tape and red tape to go through, these assemblies to have these conversations about violence or show, like your whole story and what you just talked about and going to 60th Street, going to the homes, that's the movie Lean on Me. You know what I mean? Right? About the community, you know what I'm saying? About the children. They went to the house when the girl was pregnant to tell the mom because she
right.
All that stuff. But y'all know that we can go on forever and ever. And to me,
this was a great conversation
because this is something that is well needed in the community. I'm sure people are listening to this and want to know where can they find you? Please give all your social media handles, website, whatever you have, that people know where to find you.
Well, this is the first time I'm on Instagram. I'm Legends Mom 2010. And on Facebook, I'm just Tamika Williams. And so I'm you'll see, I think, what is my picture on is 2 pictures of me on both. So just so I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. And so Joe can probably give you more information too, but I'm here to support and advocate for our children, and I'm a product of West Philadelphia and Philadelphia public schools, and I just want to see our kids win. There's so much talent in the city that's missed because of the things that mask it. And so this has been a great conversation, yes, and I look forward to coming back, and thank you for having me.
And see, good things can come out of public school. Yes. Y'all hear that? I'm a product of the public school system too.
I mean, everybody on this panel right now was in public school, so
that's right.
I wasn't.
That's you.
Look.
But I went to Catholic, but I'm psychotic and crazy. Professor Williams is set for the class. So the school don't have nothing to do with that, because the Catholic.
But you're an amazing teacher, so it counts for something. So you can
But wasn't she wonderful, y'all? I'm so glad she came on. Like, I love Professor Williams. Like, I can't wait till the fall school starts back.
I had to tell him. He's getting on my nerves. Okay, Professor.
I'm going to say it again. One more again. But listen, Franchella, this is when I was moonlight. Remember when you was like Bird, it was noise on your
my
phone. I was listening to, I was on Professor Williams' class and multitasking the radio show. I used to tell Professor Williams I was doing both. So I'm listening. But
you ain't missed a beat.
But
great conversations. They were great conversations, and it's been a pleasure. So this was good.
It was a pleasure for us to have you, and thank you again for all that you do. Continue to do it, and good luck on your dissertation. Also,
thank you. I will keep you guys posted.
Please do.
Please do. Thank you so much. All right.
Have a good night.
Have a good one as well.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
All right, y'all. Well, thank everybody for tuning in to the Real Recognize Real Talk radio show. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Excited, awesome show. We had Christopher Williams in the beginning.
Don't wake me, I'm dreaming.
But that's our singer right there.
Your part, Birdman, is no.
Awesome. So thank you guys. That's our time, but please continue.
I got announcements real quick.
Right, you got some housekeeping.
Yep. So for those of you who might not know, y'all know I got a film coming up that I'm trying to get wrapped up and trying to do. I'm also a part of another film. Shout out to Eli and Lou. They had us on lockdown for a long time, so I'm back out here. But they wrapped up the film called The Soil, so stay tuned for that because I'm sure it's gonna be nothing less than amazing. And June the 12th, I'm looking for extras for a short film that I'm doing. Ages between 15 and 23. If you are a minor, you have to bring your parent with you because they have to sign a permission slip that's giving us permission to record you and use you in the movie. It's a mock concert scene, and it is at 3500 Lancaster Avenue in West Philadelphia at 6 p.m. June 12th. On June the 22nd, I'm also looking for extras for a town watch scene. The movie is about senseless gun violence in the city of Philadelphia. And so that's going to be the topic in the town watch. So if you're interested in coming out, all ages are welcome. It's at the same location. It's the Community Education Center at 3500 Lancaster Avenue. Also doing my annual empowerment symposium on Sunday, June the 29th. This time the focus is breaking the cycle of violence through love and healing. Franchella is one of our phenomenal dynamic guest speakers. I am as well. Ebony Williams is also one of our dynamic speakers, and Adrian Teller as well. And we have two new speakers, dynamic speakers, Tommy Blackwell, as well as Zachary Frazier from the trustfactor.org. So make sure y'all come out. It's a free community event, and it's going to be at 1919 Meadery Avenue. I'll post the flyer, so you all have that information. And shout out again to Christopher Williams. Shout out to Birdman for bringing us these phenomenal guests for today. Shout out to Franchella for her birthday. She get ready to celebrate, and continue to keep us all in your prayers, because life just be lifing. And we will do the same for you. So until next time.
Continue to follow us, y'all. Our website, if anybody wants to be on the show, please hit us up at rrrtalkradio@yahoo.com. And just continue to follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. And all that information will be, it's out there on our bio pages on Facebook. So thanks again for tuning in. And until next time, peace.